Good morning, Internet, and welcome to... First of all, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the additional 50 subscribers that I woke up with this morning. I say woke up with like I slept last night. I slept for 1 hour last night. I discovered the whole new subscriber thing at some point in the middle of the night when I was tossing and turning and looked at my phone. Thank you so much. I am so excited to bring you along with me today for the 2024 Chelsea Flower Show. It's basically the reason that we came to London this week. It's my first time here. I'm going to show you as much as I can. It's going to be great. Stay tuned. We're here. We're just got out of the Sloane Square station. It is an absolute mob scene right now. But the nice people are very polite and, telling everyone where to go. Anyway, it looks like headed that way. It's raining now, but rain's good for the flowers. This is incredible, this block. Look at those trees.
The idea of having this space is so people can come in and have a reflective time and a quiet space from the busyness of Piccadilly.
You don't know it's there, you kind of miss it, but it's like almost like a sun lounge made out of cork, and it's just like, I'd have that as my reading thing. It's beautiful. And then there's a marble run up the back, which is again for the senses. Okay. So you have, so there's lots of it is absolutely, but it's knowing what you need now, and so you have these. So there's more muted planting in the inside, and there is at the front of the garden, and so it's about what they and how trying to get society to understand that they just need a little bit of understanding.
So cool. We just saw these driftwood sculptures. The sculptor's actually here. I unfortunately didn't really get close enough to hear him talk, but like, just imagine like collecting all these pieces. This is incredible artistry.
But just didn't want any plastics in the garden. Didn't want any cements, rubbers. The walls are made hemp, and the stone walls aren't stone. It's hemp blocks, lime rendered, and puddled clay to line the pond.
barely made it out of there alive. They had Lady of Shalott, but they did not have the other two, Ancient Mariner and Emily Bronte. Our somewhat chaotic walkthrough of the 2024 Chelsea Flower Show. As you can see, we are back in Philadelphia now, and I apologize for the way I sound. I am now ill. For some reason, every time I return to the United States from abroad, I get sick. That could be my body trying to tell me something about how it feels about me returning to the United States, but I guess we'll just never know for sure. Anyway, I had a few pointers, some of which I followed, the others I did not, that I wanted to share with you in case you're interested in going to the Chelsea Flower Show next year or at some point in the future. I just thought that these would be helpful for everyone. So my first tip would be to plan ahead and go early. Make sure you allot more time than you think you will need for the event because there's a lot to see. I spent a grand total of 10 minutes, I think, looking at the website before the event, and that just was not how I would do it if I had to do this over again. When I got there, we bought the program that had the map in it, and we had to spend a couple minutes like looking at the map, kind of planning our game plan, trying to figure out where everything was that we wanted to see. If I had to do it again, I would try to get the program and the map ahead of time, because I think you can do that. And then like come up with your plan of attack before you get there. Because I knew that we wanted to see the sanctuary gardens and the show gardens, but I didn't even know that there was a section on balcony and container, so I didn't get to see it because I didn't even know it was a thing. And we just spent a lot of time on the other gardens because we just didn't know, we didn't really understand the scale of the event until we got there. We were there for, I would say, 6 or 7 hours, and just because of the size of the event and the fact that we were kind of disorganized, we missed out on some things that I did want to see in retrospect. 7 to 9 hours and some more planning, we probably would have been able to see everything. Also, if you're into shopping, I would plan probably at least another 2 hours if you want to shop. We ran out of time. Also, didn't really have much luggage space, fortunately, so didn't do any shopping, but if that's something that you're into, they had a lot of really incredible gardening vendors, and I would highly recommend checking that out. The other thing to keep in mind is that Chelsea in Bloom and Belgravia in Bloom were 2 other free events that were going on in the area at the same time as the Chelsea Flower Show. I'm not positive that they happen at the same time as the Chelsea Flower Show every year, but I assume that they do. We saw a couple of those displays. They were pretty spectacular. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to Chelsea, then take another day maybe and just like walk around those neighborhoods. It's so beautiful. They do an amazing job. My second tip would definitely be to wear comfortable shoes. If you look at pictures of the event and some parts of my video, you will see there were people at this event that were just dressed to the nines. Gorgeous. I know that I wanted to look my best, so that's why I got my hair cut and dyed, got my clothes tailored, and spent an evening at the Bobby Brown counter at Harrods the night before the event. I like the way my shoes looked for the event. I ended up wearing the white leather Cezanne sneakers that I showed in a previous video. They would have been fine, but they weren't broken in. I've only worn them a couple times, and they just wrecked my feet because they weren't broken in. Don't wear heels unless you're in a situation where you can walk really well in heels and maybe don't have nerves in your feet anymore. Don't wear heels. I can't imagine. I know I'm a baby about heels, but like I just can't imagine anyone having a good time in heels at this event. Flat footwear, something supportive, and you should be good. Third tip, and a tip that we followed when we went to this event, fortunately, is to bring rain gear. Weather-wise, the UK is kind of a mixed bag in the spring. We were there for 5 full days, and 3 of the 5 days were just gorgeous. Sunny, 70 degrees with a nice breeze, and the other 2, it just poured. Just pouring rain. Not cold, but pouring rain. I didn't bring a raincoat to the Chelsea Flower Show because I wanted to look good, and the only raincoat that I own now kind of looks like something a tourist would wear at Niagara Falls, so not really ideal for, a dress-up event. I did wear my Brooks Brothers trench coat, which is not a raincoat, but did a fine job for this event, but it probably wouldn't have been good if it had been windy and rainy. I had an umbrella, so that, without the wind, the umbrella was fine, but would highly recommend a real raincoat if there's, any chance that it's gonna be windy and rainy. Would recommend an umbrella, a raincoat, and some kind of water-resistant shoes. My shoes held up fine. They somehow did not get mud on them. There's a lot of, you're gonna be walking through a lot of grass, and the fields there, the mud is very, it's like black mud. I somehow did not mess up my white leather shoes, but I would not wear them again. I would definitely wear something that's actually a boot, something that's meant to be worn in wet conditions. And my fourth and final tip is to just be patient. I am used to the Philadelphia Flower Show, which I try to go to every year. It's a well-attended event, but it's a lot smaller and it's kind of different the way it's laid out. There's just less lines, I think, at the show gardens.
you can generally just kind of walk up and be able to get right up next to them and, you know, not have any problems seeing things. They usually have lines at some of the more popular exhibits like the Ikebana or the miniature gardens, but those are really the only things that where people line up to see them. This event, the Chelsea Flower Show, is a completely different animal. There are no lines. There is just, you kind of crowd up, and then people, as they're finished looking, just kind of walk out, like through the crowd. So it's just this kind of, you know, just this shift of people moving toward and away from each of the show gardens. And I looked at that and I was like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be able to see anything unless I like really elbow my way up there. And I just don't feel comfortable strong-arming other people in a foreign country when I'm not really used to the social customs there. United States, different story. I'm willing to throw a punch to see something that I want to see because I know how things are here. Not in a foreign country though. Fortunately, it just worked out very well. It was just, you know, you walk up and you just kind of wait for a spot to open up and you just gradually move forward. It was just, it acted like a line did, but without there being an actual line. So if you show up there and you just understand that like you're just gonna have to wait your turn like you would in a line, but it's a crowd, then you're gonna be totally fine. Once I figured that out, I had a great time. There's several attendants at each of the show gardens who are there to talk about the show garden with you, about the organization behind the garden too. They have pamphlets. There's, you know, an opportunity to spend a couple minutes up there, take some pictures, talk to the attendants, talk to the other people around you. The time goes fast as you're moving up there, just because there's so much interaction going on as you get closer and closer to the front. Anyway, that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for joining me today. This was an incredible experience, and it was such a privilege to be able to bring you along with me. If you like this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe for more. And an extra special thank you to my most recent 50 subscribers. It's amazing having you here. I hope you all have a great week, and I will catch you next week. Bye-bye.